I'm going to give a brief tutorial on how to design simpler, prettier charts with Microsoft Excel. What we have here is what Microsoft Excel automatically creates based on the defaults. Okay, so here's our data set. And actually the first thing I like to do is to order the data from, I think, smallest to largest or largest to smallest. I'll see how the graph turns out. I may need to reverse that. But that's going to automatically clean it up. The next thing we're going to do is we want to select a horizontal bar graph. Horizontal bar graphs have the benefit of letting you see your data labels a lot more clearly. And just a note about pie charts, I know a lot of people like pie charts, but once you get more than about 3 data points, you can't quickly see at a glance which is the bigger piece and the order, that, you know, which one is smaller and by how much. It's very difficult to see. So the experts out there really recommend, if you have more than 3 data points, use a bar chart, and my preference again is the horizontal bar chart. And we'll click here and you can see kind of what it's gonna look like. So I did order the data in the proper way, and I'm just gonna click on finish, and I'm gonna show you all the things that I'm gonna change on this. Okay, so that's what we have. That's our basic chart that Excel spits out. One of the first things I do is remove the legend. It's really not necessary. Then you want to either make these grid lines a very light gray, and also delete this background color. We don't need the border and we don't need that color. I like to delete this background color too, so that whatever I put it on is transparent. So you see you have these axis lines, but probably don't need them. So I'm actually going, I can't select none. Okay. We are going to, I'm going to make these a lighter gray. And I'm actually going to delete this axis. And I don't really need the lines, and none and none. Okay. The second thing I'm going to do is delete this border, and then I'm going to choose a color that I actually custom put in here, and I'll show that in another brief tutorial. So now we have that. I also like to make these bigger. It really helps you see it more clearly. Then you want to make these axes, labels larger so you can see them. Everything doesn't have to be small. Then I want to actually add the data labels, and then that's why you don't really need the numbers here, because we're going to have them right here, and I want to make those bigger. Oops. I don't want that to be there. And you can even move them in. Oops. Here if you want. I think that cleans it up a little bit. You can make them white. It's going to be a little tricky here. Tiny. Okay, but then now you know what they are. You know what the numbers are, and you can see which children identified, the carrots, the broccoli, and all that. It's very easy to see. The other thing I want to do is to change this title. Yeah, we know this is the number of children who identified, but what's the point of this graph? What are we trying to show? Okay, children need to exposure to more vegetables in their natural form. I'm going to make this bigger. Whoa, not that big. I'm going to make this whole thing bigger. You always want to drag from the corner so you don't distort the dimensions. Okay, so that's better already, and I can actually make these white. I think they might show up better. Whoops, I didn't do that right. I want the color to be white and the background to be transparent. No, actually the black shows up better. Okay, so already that's a lot better, and so you can see that the background is transparent. So that's basically it, how we create a prettier, cleaner chart in Excel by getting rid of a lot of the defaults. They're not necessary, and you want, the point of the chart is to make the data and the point of the data very clear immediately. One last thing you can do is highlight maybe like your main point with color. So say I really want to highlight that, you know, let's see, this is something about the bell pepper. Say the main point was about the bell peppers. Then I could highlight that using color. So that's another good point to make. Use color to emphasize your point, make it very clear. You don't want people to have to look at this chart and figure out, okay, so what's the point? Make it obvious, and they don't have to guess so much. So that's just a little tutorial, a little rough around the edges, but just wanted to put that out there. I hadn't seen anything. I've seen lots of articles on blogs about cleaning up charts, but I hadn't seen a tutorial on it. So here it is.